Jinho feels the wind shifting around him as he stands barefoot on the cold river stones. The strange shimmer of the golden koi still clinging to his hands, like warm sunlight, and he senses something unseen stirring beneath the surface of the water, as though the river itself has awakened to watch him, as though it recognizes him for reasons he cannot understand. And the villagers, who once mocked him, fall silent at the sight of the arriving cars, their fear hanging thick in the air. As Gin wonders what force has been set into motion around him, the black cars stop in a perfect line, their doors opening in eerie unison as tall men in dark suits step out, moving with a quiet precision that makes Jinho feel as if he has stepped into a world far beyond his own. And the old man at the center of them all stands still for a moment, studying Jinho with an expression that shows neither kindness nor cruelty, only an intense curiosity, as if he has found a missing piece he has been searching for all his life, making Jinho wonder why a boy like him from nowhere could draw the eyes of someone so powerful. Chairman Lee approaches slowly, his footsteps quieter than the river breeze, yet every person around feels the gravity of his presence, as though an entire mountain were shifting its weight through the ground. And the koi in Jinho's hands flickers with a strange glow, like a living secret begging to be uncovered, while the chairman stretches out a weathered hand and asks Jinho to hand it over, though his voice holds a tone that suggests this is no simple request, but a demand tied to fate itself. And Jinho hesitates, unsure of whether giving up the koi will change his life forever. Before Jinho can respond, the river begins to churn, as if responding to something only it can hear, and the waters rise in swirling patterns around his ankles, glowing faintly with the same golden hue that radiates from the fish, while the villagers gasp and stumble backward, terrified by the unnatural sight. And Chairman Lee's bodyguards grip the edges of their jackets, ready for something they do not understand. Though the chairman himself remains completely unshaken, his eyes locked on Jinho, as if he knows exactly what this moment means for the boy and for the long-hidden truth he has spent decades seeking. Jinho finally lowers the koi back toward the river, yet the fish refuses to leave his hands, flicking its tail gently against his skin, as if it recognizes him not as a rescuer, but as someone it has been waiting for all along. And this recognition sends a strange warmth through his body, a pulse of energy that makes the world around him blur for a moment, while Chairman Lee raises a hand, signaling his guards to stay back, because he feels something stirring in Jinho, something ancient, something tied to the legacy he has chased for years, leaving everyone watching in breathless confusion. As the koi glows brighter, a faint symbol appears along its scales, a mark shaped like an ancient crest, known only to the wealthiest families of Korea, one that was believed lost generations ago. And when Chairman Lee sees it, he steps forward with a sharp breath, his voice trembling for the first time, as he declares that the mark belongs to the Lee dynasty, a symbol of fortune and protection and lineage, a symbol that can only reveal itself to someone chosen by the river itself, causing Jinho to stare in disbelief, wondering how a poor boy who barely survives each day could be linked to such a powerful legacy. The villagers murmur, nervously glancing between the glowing fish and the chairman as fear creeps into their eyes, because they realize the boy they mocked and dismissed may now be connected to unimaginable power. And Jinho feels the weight of their stares pressing down on him, but before he can react, Chairman Lee tells him he must leave the river at once and come with him to the estate for his safety, for the truth, for the future. And though Jinho does not understand why any of this is happening, he feels an instinct deep inside urging him to trust the man, drawing him toward a path he never imagined. Jinho steps toward the convoy, feeling a pull stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, stronger even than the mystery burning in his chest. And the koi swims in gentle circles at the river's edge, as if watching him go, its golden glow slowly fading back into the calm water, while the villagers remain frozen, afraid to move, uncertain of what the chairman will do next. And as Jinho climbs into the sleek car, the door closes with a soft thud, sealing him into a world of secrets and revelations he cannot yet grasp, leaving him staring out the window as the river disappears behind him, wondering what hidden truth is waiting at the estate ahead, where his real story is about to begin. Jinho sits in the back of the luxurious car, feeling the vibration of the road beneath him, yet everything around him feels unreal, as if he has stepped into a dream that twists the world into unfamiliar shapes. And Chairman Lee watches him from across the seat, studying every breath he takes, every flicker of confusion and fear in his eyes, as though he is confirming something he has long suspected. And the guards speak not a single word, while the landscape outside shifts from small villages to towering structures of steel and glass that rise like silent giants, testing the courage of anyone who dares approach. As they enter the gates of the massive Lee estate, Jinho feels a strange tingling across his skin, like electricity whispering over him, as if the grounds themselves recognize his arrival. And the moment The car stops. A line of servants forms silently there, eyes lowered yet trembling with curiosity because the chairman has never brought a commoner boy into the estate, let alone introduced him with personal interest, which whispers to them that something unprecedented is beginning, something that may shake the entire legacy of the Lee family. Chairman Lee leads Gin-ho through endless corridors decorated with artifacts from generations of powerful leaders, each object holding stories that could crush lesser minds, and Gin-ho feels overwhelmed by the heavy history pressing against him, yet somewhere deep inside, he senses an echo of familiarity, as if he has walked these halls in a forgotten memory, or in a life that was stolen from him before he could understand it. And the chairman walks with a pace that reveals both urgency and caution, as if the truth must be shared, but only at the right moment. They enter a private chamber hidden behind a sliding wall that Gin-ho never would have noticed, and inside he finds shelves stacked with files, photos, and old recordings, all surrounding a massive glass table etched with the golden crest he saw glowing on the koi fish, and the chairman motions for him to sit, his face solemn as he explains that Jin-ho's parents were once connected to the Lee dynasty through a forbidden line I believed extinguished when enemies sought to destroy every trace of it. And Gin-ho feels his heart pounding as the truth begins to unravel around him, piece by piece. Chairman Lee reveals that the koi fish is more than a creature, it is a living marker, nurtured by guardians of the river, that appears only to descendants of a lost branch of the family. And Gin-ho realizes with a tightening breath that this means he is no ordinary boy, but the last living heir to a legacy that was hidden to protect him from those who sought his blood, and the chairman has spent decades searching for evidence of this lineage. Driven by guilt over failing to save Jin-ho's parents from betrayal, as the chairman speaks, he shows Gin-ho a series of photographs showing his parents working in secrecy with documents that prove their connection to the dynasty, and letters begging the chairman for help, letters that never reached him because they were intercepted by those who feared their return. And Gin-ho sees familiar faces among the conspirators, faces of villagers he once trusted, faces that smiled at him while they hid the truth of their role in his suffering, and the weight of betrayal coils tightly within him like a serpent awakening. Chairman Lee tells him that revenge is not merely an option, it is a responsibility to restore balance to the shattered lineage and reclaim the honor stolen from his family. And Gin-ho feels a cold calm enter him, a clarity sharper than the river wind, as he thinks of every moment he was mocked, mistreated, and ignored by those who believed he was worth nothing, and now he stands on the edge of a truth so powerful it could break or rebuild everything that was denied him, his hands trembling as if gripping an invisible blade waiting to strike. The chairman then orders the servants to summon the villagers who wronged him, inviting them to the estate under the guise of a community reward, as part of a charity program, and they arrive in their best clothes, fearful yet tempted by the possibility of wealth, unaware of the trap closing around them. And Gin-ho watches from behind the curtains of a balcony as they gather in the grand hall, their voices hushed with awe at the gleaming marble and towering chandeliers, never knowing they stand on the edge of reckoning. When the doors of the grand hall swing open, Gin-ho steps inside, dressed in formal attire that transforms him from a poor outcast into a figure radiating strength and destiny, and the villagers stare at him, speechless, unable to comprehend how the boy they scorned has become someone of such authority. And Gin-ho walks slowly, his step steady, as the chairman stands beside him, announcing that the boy they once belittled is in fact the rightful heir to the Lai lineage. And the villagers pale as dread blooms in their eyes. Jinu addresses them with a calmness that terrifies them, because it is not the trembling voice of the boy they once mocked, but the steady voice of someone who has realized his worth and inherited a legacy that cannot be denied. And he asks them why they destroyed his parents, why they sabotaged his childhood, why they chose cruelty when kindness cost nothing. And the villagers stammer, searching for excuses, but the weight of their guilt presses down on them, silencing their lies before they can form. Chairman Lee orders the guards to bring forward documents signed by the villagers, documents revealing their participation in the betrayal of Jin-ho's parents. And as the truth floods the hall, the villagers collapse to their knees, begging for forgiveness, but Jin-ho feels no pity, only a distant ache in his chest where innocence once lived. And he tells them that forgiveness is not his to grant, because they did not destroy only his life, but the honor of a legacy far greater than any of them could comprehend. The chairman then reveals a final truth, a secret he has withheld even from his most trusted advisors, that Gin-ho's parents left behind a coded message before their deaths, a message that contains the identity of the true mastermind who orchestrated their downfall. And the villagers look around in terror, knowing that the one who betrayed the dynasty is still among them, hiding behind layers of false loyalty and pretending to be a protector while quietly seeking to seize control of the family fortune. Ginho steps closer to the chairman, urging him to reveal the name. Yet the chairman lifts a hand warning that the truth may destroy more than just the guilty, and as he places the encoded letter into Jinho's hand, he tells him that only he can unlock its final secret, because only a descendant of the chosen bloodline can read the hidden script glowing beneath the ink, and Jingo feels the letter pulse warmly against his skin like the koi fish that shone in his hands the day his life changed forever. As the villagers tremble, the guards lock the door's ceiling. The hall and the chairman tells Jinho that the next choice belongs to him alone. Whether he will expose the mastermind now, or force those in the hall to live in fear of being unmasked. A fear that may drive them to reveal more truths, and Jinho stares at the trembling faces before him, feeling the weight of destiny pressing upon his shoulders as the letter warms brighter and brighter in his hand. He slowly opens the folded paper, and the ink shifts like living shadows, rearranging into symbols. Only he can see symbols that spark with golden light, casting reflections across the marble floor, and the villagers gasp as the glow intensifies, surrounding Jinho like a halo of ancient power, and he takes a breath, preparing to speak the name that will change everything. Yet, as the final symbol reveals its meaning, a sudden tremor shakes the hall and the lights flicker, as if the estate itself is reacting to the truth. The chairman moves toward him, shouting for him to wait, but the tremor grows stronger, and a hidden panel in the wall slides open with a hiss, revealing a silhouette standing in the doorway. Someone who is never invited, someone whose presence makes the villagers scream, and the chairman steps back with shock etched across his face, because this figure is the last person he ever expected to see alive. And Jinho turns slowly, gripping the glowing letter as the shadowed figure steps into the light, revealing a face he thought he would never see again, leaving the entire hall frozen in breathless terror as the true mastermind finally emerges, ready to claim what they believe is theirs by right. While Jinho prepares to confront a truth darker than any he imagined, waiting for the moment that will decide the fate of the dynasty and of his own soul forever.